Oh my gosh. Eric, I hope you're ready for tonight, dude. Huge episode tonight, guys. Welcome to episode 81 of the Drag Drivers Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight's show packed, y'all. We're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Super Week, events that are coming up in 2025. We're already to 13 events on the list. The fourth week-long Sick the Magazine event has been announced, and we have three sets of guests on. Matt Lang and Adam Hodson are going to be on talking about Back to the Streets. Jesse Adams and Heather Nichols are going to be on talking about Redwood Rally. And then Ryan Snyder from Performabuilt Transmissions, one of our sponsors. He's going to talk about his experience at Six Summer and all the fun he had with the Price family and the Sheila's Dream wagon. But this is a special one right here for you guys. He has waited and he's going to disassemble the 4L60 that was in the wagon right here live on the show. Mr. Eric White, please hit that intro video, man. Let's get this thing going.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road and try to make it the next day.
Man, listen, again, I'm excited about tonight, episode 81 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Dude, guys, my name's Mike Narks. I'm the host of the show that you're watching right now and the news, which happens most weekends at right here, wherever you're watching this, you can see it. The news is an hour long, just hammer through the news from the drag and drive community. Well, Mr. Eric White, my right hand man, sir, introduce yourself. Tell them what you got going on.
I am Eric White, the co host of both the show and the news. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about. I've been working on new sticker designs, which we're going to talk about soon. Getting ready to do photos at Hot Rod Drag Week, which is going to be amazing. It's busy season, man.
That is for sure. Well, let's get into this thing, guys. You know the deal. We can't do this without you guys. The Race Car Friends group of people is really what kind of helps keep this thing moving along, man. I'll tell you, we talk about it all the time, late night times. It really helps get that extra little boost, put that extra 30 minutes or an hour into figuring out all the stats and details and updates from the community. And of course, we can't do this without our sponsors, Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, which I hope we get to see, Corey, while we're on Drag Week next week. And I know we're going to get to see Tommy Dupree and Jim Greenleaf of Summit because Tommy's new truck is out and about. So that's going to be kind of fun. WAF Racing with Chris Wozniak. I hope he sneaks up there for at least a day or two. And then Performabuilt Transmission. Ryan's going to be on here later. Howard's Cams, Luke B., our buddy, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Can't do without all of them, guys. We appreciate everybody that's out there. Let's jump into this right here. You guys know this. I've said it 100 times. Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop. With 4 facilities and 200 plus catalog editions, they fuel your passion, they save you money, they deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for all your social media stuff. And you can also listen to the On All Cylinders podcast or website to get all of your automotive discussions, kind of like what you're listening to here. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. Again, you can find everything summitracing.com.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
They obviously we talk about their social media stuff being so great. Justin and the team over there just rock it out. Al Noe and all those guys over there do a great job. I see Steven Narkson here. What's up? What's up? I knew he would like this photo as well. As soon as I saw it on the Summit Racing Facebook page, here's what's really cool about this. Let's say you just had the hood pop just a tad and you look in there, that looks just like a small block Chevrolet with the old oil bath breather, but it is not. That is not at all what that is. Got a huge turbo on one side. And then I love the ducting that runs down that obviously meets with the turbo piping, but thought that was a super cool look there. This is from one of their engine bay, show us your engine shot and all that kind of stuff, and then comes back around and they post special ones on the page all the time. So if as you see Summit Racing posts, obviously make comments, man. Make comments within those posts. Help us out. Let's get them going there a little bit more. Well, let's talk about some drag drive repeat updates. Mr. Eric, lead us into this part because this is your specialty, sir.
Yeah, so we've restocked stickers. I think we ran out of the blue 12-inch. So we got more of those in stock now. And we've got new stickers. So right here,
Mm-hmm.
we've got, they will be on the website after the show, but we've got the 12-inch red, white, and blue drag drive repeat stickers. And we've got them in the 6-inch.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you, I thought the 12-inch would outpace the 6-inch by quite a bit, but dude, those 6-inch decals are flying. And it's probably because they're $5.
Yeah. And then we only have a sample of these, so we're going to have these at Hot Rod Drag Week. We've got an order in, so they will be in sometime while we're at Drag Week. But we've got this one here. You can see over there, the Drag Drive Repeat. I'm calling this the stacked logo. So this one, a 6-inch by about 3-inch. These ones are going to be $5. So I like that one a lot. And then this one is kind of the horizontal. This is a 12-inch by about a little over 1-inch. So drag, drive, repeat again, red, white, and blue, all in a line there.
Yeah.
And then probably my favorite is the holographic Race Car Friends drag, drive, repeat sticker.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is awesome, man. I love that sticker. I think that one is going to be really fun to see on cars as we get out and about in the world. So we're going to have 10 Race Car Friends stickers. Now, here's the deal. We're going to have them with us at Drag Week. For the folks that purchase those while we're there, man, you're going to get a huge hug. You're going to get some satisfaction and a huge hug from both of us, man. It's pretty awesome to be able to bring a bunch of this stuff with us and be out there slinging some stickers.
Yep. So here's some just samples. I kind of mocked them up on the Mustang here, so you can see the horizontal or the long drag, drive, repeat. You've got the hashtag Race Car Friends with the most people don't notice it, but there's the road in the background that's just faint enough you can kind of see it. And then the standard 12-inch red, white, and blue.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
And then we've got a couple more that I can't wait to talk about those once we get those in. But that's going to be another week or so before we can talk about those ones. But I think you guys are going to love these next two releases that we're coming out with.
Yeah. And then Steven Nark saying, can I get a Race Car Friends by Saturday? They're at Eric's house. So that's going to be a little tough. Maybe he can, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to overnight those down here to us, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about that for sure. All right. Well, man, I appreciate you putting all the time and effort into those. I'm excited about these. And I'll tell you, this is a great way to support the brand, obviously, and help us attend more events, do more stuff, buy more equipment, hire some people, all that kind of stuff. All right, let's talk about the Circuit 2025 because, guys, this is a huge announcement right here. You're hearing it the first time right here. The Circuit 2025, obviously, we added 11.0 index and 12.0 index, kind of matching the Rocky Mountain Race Week index style of classes, simply because I feel like the circuit is eventually going to grow into like a test for a lot of folks. They'll use the circuit as a way to test for Rocky Mountain. Well, of course, Matt Frost, being the Matt Frost he is, heard about the classes and has stepped up hugely. Listen to me. For the 11-0 and 12-0 winners, you are getting free entry into the 11-0 and 12-0 mega week from Rocky Mountain Race Week. Dude, I'm so excited about this. That's huge. Talk about, this event's $300 to enter. You are parlaying that into a $500 entry into the Rocky Mountain Race Week mega week, the biggest drag and drive event that's ever happened. This is going to be a big deal, and I really, really, really appreciate Matt over at Rocky Mountain Race Week. And then I
That's
want to
awesome.
give
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. And then I want to give a shout out to Harvey's Hack Shack sending out some decals to me, man. I appreciate that. Those are going on the shop refrigerator right after the show tonight. All right, let's
Very,
move on,
very
man.
cool.
We're already 10 minutes in. Can you believe it?
I know.
We got to get
All
to
right.
jamming here.
Yep. Just finished getting through those comments. All right. So, Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off road and circle track, or pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies. Winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, then enhanced with state of the art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. And as always, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or the website where you can order all of your oil is drivenracingoil.com.
Yep, love those guys over there, and they're going to be at 666. So we got a fun announcement to make here in just the next couple weeks. All right, first up, guys, let's talk about Super Week. This is a big deal. At first, I will say I was sad that all these events are on the same week, but I'll tell you right now, these being on the same week is going to change drag and drive from here on out. You have 3 parts of the country that are going to be running 300 race cars. Somebody said the other day, more than 1 million street miles will be driven by drag and drive racers during that week. Super cool. Love the stat behind that, and love the opportunity that this is going to provide for the community to grow. I mean, this is really going to change a lot. We have 15 hours of racing every day live across YouTube and Facebook. It's going to be super cool between Drag Week and Race Week and Redwood Rally. This is going to be awesome. So let's talk a few things. Rocky Mountain Race Week. I messaged Matt Frost this morning on my way to drop my daughter off, and because I was just thinking, like, we're literally going into the 5th running of Race Week this year. It's pretty wild to think that that's what kicked off my whole drag and drive career. It's the first race I raced at, but it made me think: did he ever think that it would be this big, or that it would last 5 years? So of course I had to ask him. I literally said, "Did you ever think Race Week would be going into its 5th year?" He replied back, "The plan was to only do it one time to give drag weekers a place to go when the world shut down. Little did I know that so many people would want it back year after year." Super cool. Love that. Love the story there. And if you think about it, 5 years at 250 cars per year. I mean, that's more than 1,200 race cars that have done Race Week right here in the middle part of the country. So pretty awesome. And I just want to wish everybody at Race Week this next week good luck.
Yep, for sure. And then after that is Hot Rod Drag Week. Obviously, that is where you and I are going to be. This is the 20th running, so we're expecting a lot of the OG racers to attend. We'll be there capturing the race for Drag and Drive World Champion updates, as well as the 850 class race and the SME class to see how the 10-0 champion begins to shape up. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, this week here again is going to be a crazy week in points as we start kind of running into that last few events of the year. And then Redwood Rally, this is the 2nd year for Redwood Rally, and we're going to have Jesse and Heather on here in just a little bit. But they have more cars, and they're expanding their trophy, awards, which is kind of cool. They're going from not just first to first, second, and third in a lot of classes, which is really cool. And they're adding a public shootout to Saturday after the event, which I think is going to give everyone an opportunity to kind of hang out and have a relaxed day while they do some heads up racing. But again, we're going to talk to Jesse here in just a minute and get into all of that. And then obviously after this next week, we still have a ton of events left for the year, like 15 events left for the year. And the first one up on the list is Back to the Streets, which I'm sad I'm not going this year. And the closer it gets to this thing, dude, the more I'm going to miss it. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good one. We got Matt Lang backstage right now and Adam Hodson on. They're going to be talking about it, but it's in its second year. So we're going to talk to them in a few minutes and get the lowdown on this thing. But it's going to be at Milan, Onondaga, and Lapeer. So it's going to be kind of cool.
Yep. And then after that, we're going to have One Guy's Garage, and that is going to be here locally to me. So it's going to be at Byron, Great Lakes Dragway, and Tri State. And that is September 26th through 29th. And they're on their, what is that, ninth event?
Yeah, they've skipped 1 year since 2015.
Yeah. So
pretty awesome. So it's like the third longest running drag and drive event that's out there.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. And it's a great group of guys, guys and gals. I was there last year just at Byron, and it was a super cool atmosphere to be there. Sad that I'm probably not going to make it this year, depending on what we're doing for my kid's 16th birthday. So,
Yeah.
But it'll be a good time. If you haven't been to that one, it's definitely one that you should check out.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and then next up, I'll let you tell them about Michigan Miles because you know that whole area. You're closer to that than I am.
Yeah, so the latest release from Sick the Magazine, their fourth event for 2025, they're calling Sick Michigan Miles. So this one's going to be pretty sweet. Actually, this isn't the fourth one. This was the third one that they announced.
Yep.
Because there is the next one up still. But yeah, Michigan Miles. This one's going to be pretty cool. Again, 1,000 miles in the state of Michigan. It's the third week-long event for Sick the Mag in 2025. So going to be pretty cool. That one, I don't think they've released a time frame for that one yet, have they?
As
far as dates.
Yep. On that one, it is August 10th through 17th.
Okay, gotcha. 10th through 17th. So that'll be a pretty cool one to check out. There's, I've actually been through quite a bit of Michigan, and there's a lot of cool stuff to see around there. So I'll be excited to kind of see where they end up at.
Yeah, and on this one here, so I was at Martin this last weekend with the Midwest Drag Race Series, and they've got the center canopy has Sick the Magazine emblazoned on it, which is kind of cool. And then I was at Milan a couple, I don't know, 6 weeks ago for Heads Up Hustle, and of course, they sponsored a lane at Milan Dragway for the Sick the Magazine. So they're taking over Michigan, man. They're helping tracks, which is awesome.
Yeah, so Michigan's really going to be one of the most visited drag and drive states, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then, of course, the final event that they've posted for 2025 is the Six Smokies. And I know this is going to be a good one because there's a lot of really neat driving areas through there. We did a lot of that with Drag Week last year when we did Darlington and Rockingham and all that. But as you move closer to the Smokies, man, there's going to be some really interesting drives there. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for great roadside stops, and at the same time, just a lot of really cool views that'll come with that too. So that's October 13th through 19th. I'm assuming this is East Tennessee and North and South Carolina. That's kind of the area there I would think they're probably going to be in, but we won't know probably for another couple weeks on that. I haven't asked Derek or Luke if I could get more details, but I'm sure as soon as they have them, they're going to release them because that's the way they work. Well, let's talk about
something about going through the tail of the dragon, right?
Oh man, can you imagine that? Dude, I feel bad for the motorcycles that'll try and do that behind them. It'd be so slow.
Yeah, because they talked about something about all the gassers and going through the winding road. So that's going to be cool. That's a beautiful area over there.
Oh yeah, and that leads us into the 13 or 12 events that we have dates for or are really close to dates for 2025 already. So already looking like a huge year. I mean, obviously there's a lot on this list that we know will happen, but we have no idea the dates. We have no idea nothing's even been said about some of the 2025 events other than what we have here on the list. And you can find these dragdriverepeat.com/event list-2025. So anytime you're looking for a updated list and all that kind of stuff, that's the place to go. All righty. Let's talk about Molly Motorsports, and then we're going to bring on Matt and Adam both. So Molly Motorsports, attention high performance enthusiasts and racers, meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for Power Pack performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi, Molly has you covered. What sets them apart? Forged pistons, Grafal coating, and phosphate treatments for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And for the podcast listeners, that's MAHLE. And I want to give a big good luck and shout out to Eric Grillio for it with Race Week in his 10-second stick shift Nova. When we were at Rocky Mountain earlier this year at the Motorplex, he was really shooting for like a 10-0 pass. So I want to wish him all the best on that. And hopefully he gets that 10-0. And, obviously the way it works is if you get a 10-0 anything, then immediately you're searching for a 999. So good luck to him. I hope he ends up finding that. And, I love this car. I think it's super cool. And Eric is a great dude. So,
yeah, for sure.
all
Gotta
right,
love the stick shift Nova for sure.
I'm telling you, and a super nice guy that tows that trailer, all over the place, all over the country for these events. Well, let's bring on Mr. Matt Lang and Mr. Adam Hodson to talk about Back to the Streets, y'all. Let's get into this thing. First, introduce yourselves, tell everybody who you are, and all that kind of stuff.
Hey guys, I'm Matt Lang, promoter for Back to the Streets. Go ahead,
And a total badass.
Adam. Can you hear us, Adam?
Yep. I'm Adam Hodson. Own a shop called Mid America Customs. Drive an S10 called Gap Train, and done a bunch of drag and drives over the years, and did Back to the Streets last year.
Yeah, and did the best wheelies all weekend. It was great.
That not a good thing to do, but at least entertaining, I guess.
Yeah, it was perfect. I loved it. Well, let's talk about the dates. Obviously, September 26th through 29th. This is a big dude. 4 days of racing for this. Tell us what tracks you're going to hit, Matt.
So we're going to hit front side Milan Dragway, front side Onondaga, mid-track Lapeer. So we'll start at the 8th mile and race to the boards, and then backside Milan Dragway. So we run the track backwards.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the format of the event, because obviously this is a no prep drag and drive.
Yep. So we got 6 classes: small tire, stick shift, true street, modern, hard tire, and NA classes for everybody. We will be racing 8th mile heads up. So we chip draw. You race somebody in your class. Each day you will race twice. If you win or lose, that'll be a point against you or for you. 50% wins over the weekend, let's call it. You'll get into A bracket, and less than 50% wins, you'll go into B bracket. So everybody stays racing all weekend, but it is still heads up the entire weekend.
Yeah, very cool. What about route stops? What do you have planned for those?
So this year we'll do pretty much the same as last year, except we're adding in Hell, Michigan. So we're going to stop in Hell. They got like an ice cream store, some other cool stuff there. The other checkpoints are 5 o'clock Garage, which is a converted roller rink that will do some maybe burnouts inside, get some beverages. And,
you're not going to maybe do burnouts in there. Last year, that was the place to be, man. So cool.
Yep. And then the final checkpoint is actually Milan Dragway for a Peso grudge race. So we'll spectate the Peso event, and some of our racers will actually get the opportunity to grudge race prep guys. And last year we had a few win against the prep guys. So that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about mileage. Like, how many miles are you guys driving?
We're going to drive around 300 miles this year. So it's
Dude,
a
I feel
shorter
like
trip each day.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's perfect. That's a good weekend mileage. It's easy. It's like kind of get some people's feet wet. And these no prep guys, they typically don't do a bunch of street driving in their street cars.
Yeah. So let me tell you from a racer perspective why this is like different than other drag and drives, but at the same time why I think it's changing the game a little bit in drag and drive stuff. So like I've done over the years, we've done probably 4 or 5 drag weeks. We've done multiple Rocky Mountain race weeks. We've done this one. We've done Sick Week. So like I've done a little bit of all of them, and they all have their things that are really cool about them that, make them unique and give a person a reason to go and participate. Right. But for me personally, like after you do a bunch of them, depending on maybe what your goals are, expectations, if you're trying to win a class, and even if you won a class a bunch, I feel like at some point, or at least where I got was, what is my motivation to go? I feel like I'm just testing and tuning the whole week. Now you got to survive it, which is not easy, but you're just kind of running yourself. And like what I thought was great about this event, and I didn't even realize the exact format when we started it last year, but the deal is you're like, for a heads up guy, you are racing every day, every race, which, is 2 per track, is important. And we're chip drawing both times. And, first round is in the same group. Second round, there'll be a winners and losers. You're going to still do it that way, Matt? I'm assuming?
Yep.
For second round, like the second hit? Okay. So you get that pass, you're racing somebody, and it matters if you win or lose, because that's what dictates what bracket you'll be in at the end of the week. So it's not like just going up there and making a test hit, theoretically, or just making a pass to run a number. You actually have to race someone. So, right, reaction time matters. And then since it's like no prep, it's off the trailer. There is no testing for it. So not only does that, like you're racing something and that matters for the end of the week, now you have to give it your best tune-up right off the rip. And like for me, that's everything I love about racing. I love the tuning challenge, especially on the no prep side of it. I like the heads up racing style of it. The chip draw stuff was always fun because you didn't really know who you were going to race each time. And like that element of it is a big deal because, in every class, there are faster and slower cars, right? So sometimes you may get the slower guy in the group, which might be good. And sometimes you may get stuck with the fast guy. And for me as a racer, like that's what I really, really love about the event and what I think was the genius that Matt put into this deal. And that's why I don't know if everybody that hasn't done this, or if you don't read it well enough, you may not understand that's how this is. And I feel like there's a lot of guys that would love this format, and they just need to know that's what it is and come do it because you will love it.
Well, and the cool thing is, like, it's really, from the folks I met last year, it is a completely different group of folks than just your typical drag and drive racer. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have done a lot of that, but there's a lot of guys here that have never done this, that have done a lot of street racing.
Yeah, that's the element you kind of have to have, like a little bit in this. You drag and drive guys, because sometimes maybe you're taking a car that doesn't have a lot of adjustment, let's say, and you're just going to the track and you're running it and maybe make some little fine changes to go a little bit faster to hit your number. But you may not be a guy that has to swing big on different chassis setups or even on the tune-up, right? But this deal, it's 4 different surfaces in 4 days, which is like another awesome thing about it. It's not the same surface. It's not even close to the same surface, honestly, in all 4 days. We have a decent front side at Milan, a not very good front side at all at Onondaga, a mid-track race at Lapeer, and then you're on the backside at Milan at the end. Like, those are all different surfaces. You got to be someone that knows how to adapt and can like tune your car and the chassis even for each of those things. So it is a kind of a whole different crowd. But like for me, and I know there's a lot of guys like me because we race with them every weekend, dude, this is for you guys that like that tuning challenge, that money doesn't win any of this stuff. It doesn't matter how much money, and even to a point of horsepower doesn't win this race. it really comes down to your ability to be a tuner, a chassis guy. You got to be good on the light. It's like the total package of racing. And then you're doing the drag and drive thing, which is always a good time with your buddies. And it is, with 300 miles, it was just right for somebody that didn't want to have to just kill themselves doing a drag and drive.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, you made a great point there. Let's talk about starting line setups, because if you're racing back of the track and mid track, who's starting this thing?
Yes, we have a flagger. So actually somebody stands there with a flashlight and, hits the light, and we have a tire crack camera to make sure you don't leave early or whatever. And then a camera that shows the finish line. So yep, we have 2 off the tree and then 2 off the light. And we had a couple guys last year being bubble bulbs, checking, trying to get every advantage they can.
Oh yeah, and the finish line camera. I don't remember that guy's name, but man, it came down like there was a few races where you had to go to him to see who won. It was that tight.
Yeah, Jason did an awesome job. Called every race perfect.
That whole deal, like that is just another really cool element of it. Is again, it's testing you as a racer. Like looking off a flashlight or something and then going to the tree, it's totally different. Like actually, I think the first race that I did last year at Milan, we're so used to looking at flashlights. I was way late, like 2 cars late on the first week because I wasn't focused up, ready to pay attention. I wasn't looking where the green was going to be. I don't know what the hell I was looking at, but it wasn't what I should have been and got whooped by it. But so it really is the ultimate test of you maybe as a racer, more than maybe the ultimate test of what can your machine do, where like Rocky Mountain Race Week, where we had to drive through the mountains and you have a 400-mile drive between one destination, where it really taxes maybe the car as much as anything, where this deal, it really taxes what can you do as a chassis tuner, as maybe a power management tuner, and then you still get the fun drive. So your car has to be able to go somewhere without breaking down every 5 minutes, but that's the smaller part of it. The bigger part of it is your personal tuning challenge and be able to get through it.
Yeah. Hey, how many miles could Austin Sanchez drive?
Between 8 and 12 on a tank. He had a 3-gallon tank running methanol only on the street, and he pulled 110 gallons with him.
Wow.
Dude's an animal. Absolute animal. That's
He is.
cool.
That's wild.
It is.
So something else happened when you were setting up this event, which I think ended up being pretty cool, but there was a little bit of maybe not accepting that. So you're doing a class where you can actually haul your vehicle from track to track as well, right?
Yeah, so we're working on that. Haven't got it solidified, but there are a couple of the local no prep guys that want to join us with a trailer. So they would trailer their cars to the tracks, not have nearly as much fun on the drives, but we're considering allowing them to join us to give them that taste, and hopefully next year they move into, a full drag and drive setup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what will happen. I feel like these guys, and really, I truly think they're going to do 2 days of towing that thing. And then they're going to be like, I mean, if Austin Sanchez can drive this thing 8 to 12 miles at a time, I can get my bitch ass off that trailer and I can drive my thing, 8 to 12 miles at a time too.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to be cool is getting new people into the sport and showing them how much fun it is. So I hope that actually works out.
Yeah, me too.
That was one thing I really enjoyed about the event last year too. I mean, that everybody, like I knew Matt a little bit, not much. We talked some, but didn't know him well. I didn't really know probably 80% of the guys that were in it, right? And it was neat to be part of the first. It's always neat to be part of the first one of something. And like we kind of have like that whole OG Back to the Streets family now. Like we all became really good friends by the end. At the beginning of the week, I say I didn't know any of them, and some of them didn't know each other, didn't know me. And when Blaine was double bulbing everybody unintentionally early, we had some good laughs at that. And then it was just such a really fun atmosphere. And say meeting a bunch of new guys that same deal. They all were there because they wanted to support the event. They wanted to hang out with their buddies and they just wanted to have a good time. And like, you can't go wrong when that's the recipe.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that completely. Well, let's talk about been something happened in the last like 2 weeks. There's been some like bounties placed on people and some call outs made. So tell us about that, because that's a fun thing right there. I'll tell you, getting everybody involved.
So basically, I'm sick of the excuses. Get your cars out there. I'm putting up $200. First person to beat Matt Walter or Austin Sanchez, the 2 winners from last year. Get your car out. Let's race them. No more excuses. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. And again, this is just fun from the aspect of like winning some money from within an event and going heads up. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So also the small tire shootout registration is open as well. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yep. So Sunday after the Drag and Drive finals, we do a small tire shootout for local racers. And what we try and do is highlight the small tire racers from our Drag and Drive. We're giving them free entry into the shootout and hoping that somebody in our group can come away with the win against the local racers and again put them back on their trailers. So.
And how much does that cost to enter?
So that's $200 to enter. 150 of that goes to a pot that gets paid out to the winner. And we also have a stick shift shootout class. We're going to do 8 cars, same amount of money. 150 goes to the pot. If you get in the Drag and Drive, you are automatically entered into the shootout if you're in small tire or stick shift. So might as well do the Drag and Drive.
Oh yeah,
right.
And then everybody's rooting for you.
Exactly. That easy.
Yeah.
And there was, what do we have, like 38 cars last year or something?
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, we had 37 actually.
It was a strong car count.
Last
year. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And Milan brings a good crowd all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, Milan is a fun track, especially like you said, Saturday night is the Peso event. Man, we went to that last year. That was a good time.
Yeah, it's crazy at the Peso events.
Yeah, I'll agree with that for sure. It was awesome to do that. Well, how can they find more? What do they do to where can they find you? What's the website? What's the social media? All the kind of stuff.
So go to Back to the Streets dnd.com to get some rules and to register there. Back to the Streets 2024 is our Facebook group. We also have an event page.
Just search for it. Back to the Streets. Yeah. Well, guys, I want to say thanks a bunch. Adam, are you guys going to be documenting for the YouTube channel and stuff?
I probably will. I've been on hiatus for the last 6 months or so, but yeah, we might have to. There's so much stuff you capture. Even if I don't do something immediately, like just the memories of doing it and just watching all the goofing off, you go back to it. It always makes it fun.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And hey, listen, you don't have to put stuff out right away. You know how that's the hard YouTuber thing right there is like, do I go home and edit for a week and try and get the stuff out? Or, hey, you know what? I'm going to just enjoy those memories for a little bit and I'm going to put this out later.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You always have the memories and that. Go ahead, Matt.
The other cool thing that we're adding this year is a live feed. So nationally broadcast live feed on Motor Mania TV. Many of you probably have heard of that in the radio world, but yeah, it's a huge live stream. But Adam, I want you to capture all the behind the scenes stuff like you did last year.
Yeah. Yeah, and currently we're looking for a photographer that's going to be there. Obviously, we're not hiring you for the week to go out. We don't have, our checkbooks aren't built like that. But if there's a photographer that's going to be there, hit us up. We need some photos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Hard Target will be there, and I'm sure you guys can work together.
Oh yeah, yeah, we can certainly work with them. Love Chris and Jennifer. They're awesome folks. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks, guys. Everybody sign up now.
Yes. Yep. Yes, please do.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Hey, I'm getting a low signal over here, so I'm going to kind of hand some stuff off to you in case I start glitching.
All right. All right. So what do we got up next? We pass
Yep.
that. There we go. So we're gonna do ad read for WAF Racing. So WAF Racing is a collective is a collective of engineers, racers, and hot rod enthusiasts who have come together in one place to create with passion for racing, hot rodding, cars, and bikes, both classics and new. You just never know what they might be working on. Creating custom parts, tools, and electrical gadgets is what they like to do. You never know with their electric group what they might have up their sleeves. Hot Rodders at heart with full CAD design software tools, 3D scanners, 3D printers, and a network of machine and fabrication shops. Car nuts with toys. That's what it is. Those guys are super awesome. You know, you've seen us say, hashtag KCA, keep carbs alive. So they've done a bunch of stuff with that. And they created the toolkit, which we had posted about that when they released that. We had a discount code for when those first went live. So I know a bunch of people had ordered those. They've got the carb stands where you can stack the carbs on top of each other. So they have a bunch of cool parts. They do a lot of stuff with Mopars, but they'll create you whatever you need. So just hit those guys up.
Yeah. Yeah. WAF Racing is awesome. And I'm hoping again that we see them while we're up at Drag Week. All right. Well, let's bring in some other guests here while we run into the second half or the last 20 minutes of the first hour here. Dude, doing three guests at in one night is tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. So we're going to bring in obviously Jesse Adams and Heather Nichols, the folks that are the children behind the behind Redwood Rally 2024, 2023 last year, obviously first year to kick this thing off. Now, hey,
Nice koozie.
those koozies keep beers colder than anything I've ever experienced. Love it. I love this event. And again, 2025, Eric and I are coming out there. We're gonna
Yes.
come to you guys. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this year because you guys have a lot of stuff planned. So introduce yourself and then let's get into kind of what's going on and all the fun stuff.
I'm Heather Nichols, and and you're Jesse Adams. I thought you were supposed to introduce yourself.
Keep going. Go ahead and tell them about you, and then I'll jump in.
I don't know how to tell him about me. Jesse and I run the Redwood Rally. He handles a lot of the racing side. I handle a lot of the business and tech side of things, and so far it's working really great for us.
Yeah, we're getting it's crunch time right now. It's a busy week.
Yeah.
I just finished up a bunch of stuff yesterday and last night, and now I'm on my way down to Las Vegas to race something else before we go back up to Medford. I'm actually in the stinky pinky merch rig right now, the big pink dually with the pink trailer behind it.
Nice.
So what you're saying is if you're in Vegas, come by and find you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I messed up and showed the trophy a minute ago, so we're going to leave that off screen for a minute because I want to talk about that in just a second. But guys, what tracks are you going to be hitting?
So this year
go ahead.
we have Medford. It's our home track. So we're starting in Medford, Oregon. We then drive to Samoa Drag Strip, which is just outside of Eureka, California. We go up to Coos Bay Speedway. And then we will go over to Woodburn Drag Strip in Woodburn, Oregon. So last day we'll be back at Medford Drag Strip. So 4 tracks, 5 days. Each track is about 4 hours in between if nothing goes wrong.
It was kind of cool seeing the previous guests, and I jumped on a little bit late, so I think they're Back to the Streets guys, but I'm not sure about their whole program in general. But we're doing a shootout very similar on the day after the rally too. So I think the shootout thing, we're not gaining quite as much traction as we had hoped we would on it, but it's still going to be cool. I know there's probably about 20 to 30 rally cars. They're going to do the Sunday shootout. And just like theirs, it's open to anyone. So you don't have to be a part of the drag and drive event to do the shootout. And this year, it may not be huge, but I think next year, I think people will see it and say, wow, that's something I really want to be at.
Yeah, I think that's probably, we're in a weird spot where we're not like you lose the interest of just people that are just racers. They're like, oh, that's drag and drive. That's not my jam. But then having a shootout only, you may lose some of the drag and drive guys because they may look at that and go, oh, I'm not a drag racer. So it's kind of like it takes that first year to really kind of get everybody to understand this is awesome. This is the way to do it.
Well, I think where we got kind of the idea to come up with it was so many of the guys that ran the rally last year, we finished on Saturday and they said, well, can we stick around and do something on Sunday? And it wasn't in the cards. We hadn't planned on it. We were beat, you know what I mean? We were exhausted from our first year of doing it. So people wanted to do it this year, and it may not be a big a home run this year, but I think it'll set the groundwork to really put a good event on next year, the day after the Drag and Drive ends.
Very
Yep.
cool.
I think it's going to be really neat in the sense that it's going to give, again, these people that are going to be telling these great stories. Oh, hey, I've swapped heads on the side of the road. I changed rocker arms in my Mustang on the side of the road. Going to be letting these guys tell all these stories to these guys that just show up for the shootout, and then they're going to be like, man, I really should have done the drag and drive. That's what's going to happen. I feel like just like what we were talking about with Back to the Streets.
We had so many people last year that were like, oh man, I can't believe we missed out on that. We thought about it, but with it being your first year, we didn't know how it was going to go. And as soon as it was over and videos and pictures were being shared and people were talking to their friends, we had a lot of people come up to us like, wow, we should have done it.
Yeah.
And that is a true story because we sold out. We almost doubled the amount of entries and still sold out in 9 minutes.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. That's so cool to know that it just goes to show this is still a very, people want to do this. And you guys putting this one on, now with the Olympic Drag and Drive, now there's 2 kind of on the West Coast US. There's BC Dragon Challenge in Canada. So people can attend that are on that side of the country. They don't typically make that trip. But man, I'm telling you, it's awesome that there's a full week-long event and you guys are next level with this stuff. I mean, so tell us about some route stops.
So we start in Medford, and when we leave Medford, about an hour and a half or so out of Medford is a place called Wild River Brewing and Pizza Company, and they came on board thanks to a racer. That actual racer that signed that place up got 2 pit stop sponsors signed up for us. So Darren Dixon, I'll give you a live shout out. Thank you very much. It's perfect too, though, because it's a restaurant. It's right at the time of day where everybody's going to be hungry, wants to eat, just like Players Pizza last year. We're just not in Reading this year, so we can't go to Players. But our pit stops are all people that wanted to be a part of it. I was really shocked seeing that company run all those racers away from their property at Rocky Mountain Race Week. That's crazy to me. That's like free advertising from hundreds of people and nationwide, if not worldwide. And that's where our pit stop sponsors know, like they want to be accommodating to us, after Samoa.
Next one we have Nexus and Tony has been amazing. When we first launched the idea of doing a drag and drive last year, he was the first to say, hey, how do I become a pit stop sponsor? He was the very first person to reach out to sponsor. And they have come on board again. And they've actually asked if they can run early that day so that they can get back to their shop, open it up for everybody. I think they're going to be doing some fun stuff there. And they are allowing trailer burnouts in their lot this year. They got the approval. So that's going to be
nice.
That is cool. And where was that at? Where's that Nexus? You said?
Yep. So that's going to be in between the Samoa drag strip and Coos Bay Speedway.
That's Nexus Diesel in Brookings, Oregon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So making notes on that for sure.
After we leave Coos Bay, we go up to, what's the name of that town? Starts with an N. It's all coastal, all the way up till we get.
So we go all the way up the coast to Newport, and then we
Newport.
cut over. Yeah.
That's a long, like Oceanside Coastal Drive to Newport, and then Newport cuts east over to I-5, and our machine shop there. Right now, I draw a blank.
Hanson
Oh,
Auto and Machine.
Hanson's Auto Machine. Yeah, they're right there at I-5. So they've got a machine shop, and they've also offered to do the exact same thing. If somebody needs machine work done, they need a head surface because they blew a head gasket or something, they'll be there to basically run in after hours if need be. So that's another great pit stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and that's in between Coos Bay and Woodburn, and then we have to backtrack a little bit from Woodburn to head back to Medford, and the pit stop in between there is going to be Siskiyou Diesel and Performance. They're actually in Medford, so we'll stop there as our last pit stop sponsor. They also okayed trailer burnouts or burnouts in general, so
Awesome.
Yeah,
That should be a good time.
That seems to be the way to help grow the event as well. Get some really good spots for some trailer burnouts, and then just post those all over the place.
Yeah.
So you guys drove the route recently. Tell us a little bit about how that went. It seemed like it was adventurous, to say the least.
We drove a section of the route. It was adventurous. There are a couple YouTube videos out there if you guys want to watch them. Redwood Rally and MotorFab YouTube channels have the videos. I think Jesse had the wildest ride out of everyone. I had obviously a rocker issue like 20 minutes into the drive. I was a little bit worried that was going to set the precedence for the rest of my drive, but that went pretty well. And Jesse had a wild ride after that.
Well, like 30 or 40 minutes after that, I had a little fuel cell issue that I wasn't aware of and ran out of gas.
No
But
big deals.
luckily, that was like one exit up from the fuel stop. So got that taken care of. And then out of nowhere, we're in the Redwoods, and it's twisty left, right, up, down, cliffs on one side, creeks on the other, rivers, everything. And it just happened to be on a very straight portion of road. The steering bolt on the rat rod I was driving fell out, like flat, just completely fell out. And I drifted over into the oncoming lane. Luckily, there was no traffic. And Heather thought I was pulling over for a picture
I
or
was like,
something.
why is he pulling over on the wrong side of the road?
And I got on the brakes pretty good as soon as I got clear of one car that was coming at me. And I stopped and got out and barely kind of crashed into a dirt bank and thought, well, that was weird. And here comes Luke and Heather running over, seeing if I'm okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine. But now what do we do? And
Yeah, you're like, this steering wheel just does this.
well, luckily the bolt was still there, hanging in the rod. And I told Luke, I said, you know what? This thing just fell off. I bet I'll find that nut on the road back there. And he's like, no way. And I said, well, there's nowhere around here I'm going to find a 5/8 nut. So I got to find the one that fell off. And I walked about 600 feet the opposite direction, and there's the nut, the washer laying in the middle of the highway.
Golly, dude, you are so lucky, man.
And
You are so lucky. That's
oh,
wild.
and it all came down to, I mean, it was the
My
first
gosh,
road
that
test
fell.
of that particular vehicle. And the chassis settled, and it kind of changed the angle on a Heim joint, and it managed to
Drops off.
loosen the nut as I would turn. And anyway, that's all fixed now. It's got a castle nut and a cotter pin and a nylock on it. So that's like one of the big things we've been telling people lately is just double check nut and bolt everything. And
Yep.
you know, then we fix that. We get on the road, and 6 miles later, the left rear wheel flies off.
Oh man,
And
like wheel and tire come off?
the whole thing just comes off. And
So good.
another
Luke
one
had
that
to pull it out of some ferns in the redwood trees. Like he's hiking in these redwood
Las
trees
Vegas.
to pull his wheel and tire out.
Sacramento.
so we another thing, just kind of awkward vehicle stuff, was when the guy that owns the truck shipped it to me, he bought the wheels and tires for it, and it came with lug nuts, and somebody sold him the wrong lug nuts. So it had shank lug nuts where it should have had acorn lug nuts. And it's something that I never noticed. It just kind of showed up that way, and learned some lessons, but it all worked out.
Yep.
That's
I've done that.
wild.
I've put acorn lug nuts on when they should have been shanks. So that's the heck is wrong with this thing? Yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, let's do this trophy reveal because these things are some of the coolest stuff that's out there right now. The trophy game for drag and drive stuff has really elevated in the last couple of years. These right here, I'm gonna pull up the second and third place trophies first because obviously we want people going for those. But look at these here. I love this with the. This is either a huge piece of wood or it's a small saw. You tell us which one.
Well, the second place is a little bit larger than third place, so it's like an 8-inch round of redwood for second place, and it's got a 21-inch. I don't know if they call that a crosscut saw, but it's the same style saw that the old timers used when they would do forestry work. And I had the idea, and I found a guy on Etsy who actually makes the saws like that, but he wouldn't do it, and he was kind of lazy about it. And so I said, dude, just sell me the file, and I'll have my metal guy do the laser cutting. And so I ended up buying the file for the saw, and then my laser guys cut them all out. So second place has a 21-inch blade. Third place has like a 6-inch round with an 14-inch blade. And it's really cool. We stepped it up this year because it felt, we didn't know what last year was going to bring, and it felt a little empty at the ceremony. So now to do second and third place is going to be really cool.
Yeah,
honestly,
I love
we were
this
so
here.
focused like last year on just completing the event, like making sure it went well. But obviously, we had first place trophies, but we hadn't thought about all the extra stuff, and we didn't have time to. And so after getting, the first one under our belt, we've definitely stepped it up. We have first, second, and third place. We have some fun trophies. I don't know if Jesse shared any of those with you. Yeah, we have
And then
some
I
spirit
think there was some on the Facebook page today.
Yeah.
Right. One of
We've got some stuff for the
race queen or something like that.
Yeah, we've got some stuff for the speed queens where like the lady racer that makes the best snacks for the event, they're going to get a cutting board and a set of wooden spoons that are all laser engraved. And so we've got some female prizes out there. And then we had one of our speed queens asked, "What do you guys have for us non-domesticated females?" And I said, "Don't worry, we have regular trophies for you as well."
How cool. Well, let's look at this first place trophy because, again, you guys kind of set the precedent last year with this. I love this setup here. And if the folks are watching that won these last year at Redwood, please comment down below with the picture of the trophy, wherever it's at in your house. Because, man, these are absolutely some of the coolest stuff that's out there.
I think one of the coolest pictures that we got was around Christmas time, and someone had decorated their tree with lights.
Yes.
Made a lot of people jealous.
Yeah. Yep. And that's
awesome.
Man, that's what we want. We want people that they're hurting themselves to get these. You know what I mean? They're just trying to make sure they make it to the end and win these classes. So who makes these? Where do you get these? And how did you come up with this idea?
So there's a guy named Rod out of the Eureka area who builds what they call Redwood Wallies for Samoa drag strip, and Samoa give those away once a year, I believe. And they're the tree statue similar to that, but then they've also got a tire on them like an NHRA Wally, and they call that the Redwood Wally. It's their specialty trophy each year. And I asked Kathy, who runs the track there at Samoa, I said, "Hey, when we do this event, like, I'd really like to do a tree similar to your Redwood Wallies, but I don't want it to match yours. I want to do a couple things a little bit different, but I want your permission first because this is kind of your trademark deal." And she said, "No, by all means, your guys' route is perfect for it. Let's do it." So she got me in touch with Rod, and the guy is taking his time and made it to where I'm kind of last minute, but he does all those by hand with the chainsaw, and then he goes back and burns them, and he does a great job. I just wish he would give me a little bit more time. I finished the laser engraving at 3:30 this morning on all those trophies before I left town.
Jesse definitely, he spiced it up this year. Last year we just had plates, and I had designed like all the class things that go on it. But Jesse took it upon himself to purchase a laser engraver and learn how to use it in a matter of like 2 days. He was sending me some practice stuff because he still didn't have the trophies to actually engrave. So sending me pictures of all his practice stuff. And it was his idea to add the saw blades, which I think are a really cool touch this year. So yeah, that was all Jesse.
Yeah, I love the saw blades, and again, those are second and third place. And how long did it take you to saw that into the wood there? Like just
It takes about between 25 and 30 minutes for the laser to do its work. And then I did get the laser 3 weeks ago, and I had all of the files pre-built, but what I didn't realize was the inconsistency of the material. I had to take all the files one at a time. There's 42 trophies. So I had to
oh,
actually go and change the layout on every single one of them to make it fit each piece of wood. So the the cost of the laser engraver definitely paid for itself. To take those to somebody else to do it and have, I can't even imagine what it would have cost, because I know I had about 30 hours into doing those probably more than that, about 40 hours into doing those 40 trophies.
yeah, Eric
Wow.
knows that life. That's tough, man.
Yeah. What laser did you buy?
I don't know, some off Amazon for $360.
Is it a diode laser?
I don't know, it's blue.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that is then.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Uh,
I have a fiber laser for doing metal, so
oh, okay.
I know all about the laser stuff. It's a lot of fun though once you get into it.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get. The hardest part was the color, the logos. So the logos come in color. The laser does a great job of showing like different shades, but I couldn't figure out the white. It doesn't want to print the white, and then there's some deals in there where you have to change some settings and do a bunch of layers. And I don't know. It was interesting. It was fun. I'm glad I have it now because I'm sure I'll do other stuff with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. All right. Well, appreciate you guys jumping on. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find more information, website, social media, all that good stuff.
Well,
Yeah, so our website. Oh,
I
you
was
want
going
to
to
say
say
this?
one other big piece of news that we have this year, and we touched on it on a bunch of posts, but we are going to be live streaming the entire event, and we're going to
Yep.
focus on live stream a little bit different than what most live streams at drag races focus on. Radical Speed is going to be on board to do the full live stream, and they're going to focus probably like 30% of cars going down the track and 70% of doing actual being live on the route, being live in the pits, in the staging lanes, I mean, we want hundreds of interviews. And Radical Speed's going to be, they really want to do something different that hasn't been seen before. We've got Aaron with Code of Grace, who does the ProQ stuff. Aaron's actually developed a ticker as well. So the ticker will be embedded on the live stream, and you'll see updated results nonstop as the live stream's going. So it'll be like watching the stock market in the morning. Um, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're not doing a booth at PRI this year. We've taken the PRI booth investment money, and we're going to put it into the live stream to try to build just in another direction. PRI was great, but we really want to do the live stream so we can get more sponsors on board in the future.
Hmm. Yeah,
And we
I can
will
understand
be
that.
at PRI. We just won't have a booth.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
be there.
hey,
We'll
come
spend
on
most
by.
of our time in your booth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring it on,
Exactly.
please, please. That's what I was gonna say. Come by anytime, hang out. We're obviously gonna be doing some live streaming and stuff from the booth, and would love
Sweet.
to have you guys on at least once.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, perfect. Y'all, thank you
Well,
so
you know
much
what,
again
Jesse?
for
I
taking.
think if it works out again, we want to announce our 2025 dates at PRI. So that's going to be our
Yep.
goal.
And
Yes.
Very
the
cool.
the Back to the Streets guys gave me an awesome idea. Like, I give them all the credit for the way that the idea popped into my head as I was watching them. So that'll be part of 2025 already. I know it. I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I
that's
love
awesome.
hearing that. I love hearing that. You know, we're all growing together, so that's cool.
Yep.
All
All
right, guys.
right.
Thank you so much.
Let them know where they can find all the stuff, website and social media.
Yeah, so www.redwoodralley.com. That's going to have all your links to all of our socials. Pretty much all of our socials are just Redwood Rally. But if you go to the website, that's where you're going to see the results in real time. As soon as we type them in, they go up live on the website. And then that's also where we will be linking our live stream stuff.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, good luck,
Cool.
and hope you guys have a successful event. And look forward to seeing all the photos.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us on.
All right,
Perfect.
guys.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.
See ya.
Dude, how fun. Man, I'm telling you, 2025, we're going. Get it on your mind. We're going out there for sure. Well, let's run through a few things real quick with the Howard's Cams community segment, and then we're going to bring on Mr. Ryan Snyder of Performabuilt Transmissions. I'm excited about having him on and here, and I know it's been a couple weeks, about 8-10 weeks since he's been on Six Summer, but those memories are still burned in his brain, I'm sure, as you'll see through some of the pictures we've got here. Yeah. So lead us into the next little bit here if you want to.
Yep. This is where we go over our gentleman's agreement. We talk about it every week. This is where we are asking you to like, share this live stream or post, help us grow. We're going to continue doing what we do. We're going to do live streams twice a week, head to events and cover events, talk about stats. Everything that we do, we're going to continue doing it, but we just ask that you guys share all of our stuff and help us grow. And then, of course, thanks to all of our race car friends, that's you guys are the reasons why we come up with stickers like this and why we do everything that we do, because we enjoy seeing everybody at the events and you guys just keep us going. And finally, we've got to thank our sponsors: Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Performabuilt Transmission, who we're going to talk to shortly, Howard's Cam, Sweet Patina, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I love our sponsors, and PowerTube TV is a big supporter of ours. They play our stuff all the time on their podcast channel. We are probably one of the most played podcasts over there. And in talking to Ray, he said we are typically, as far as viewership and length of view, we are in the top 3 all the time for their podcast. So really cool, and I love the opportunities they've provided to us. And there's a lot of stuff coming in 2025. Again, we share some exclusive content over there and have a blast with them. Well, rev up your engines with PowerTube TV, the ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Stream for free on the web, Roku, mobile apps, and a ton more. Actually have it on the TV inside the house. Catch replays of our shows and exclusive content. Like I said, I shared the Havlicks deal the other day over there from us and top creators. You can find all kinds of cool stuff featuring, they got a ton of cool classic shows like Pinks and Pastime. I know you guys love that stuff. And if you were listening a couple weeks ago, I'm going to say it again. Pinks is coming back. That's right. You heard me. New episodes and events in 2025. I can't wait for that show. Pinks and Pastime both. So it's going to be a great time out there in the PowerTube TV land. Well, PowerTube TV isn't just a platform, it's a community. If you are a content creator and want to provide some content for them and want to talk to them, hit us up. We can get you in touch with Ray, who runs all of that stuff over there in their creator development program. I love that he's been awesome. He's helped us grow tremendously. You can find all the shows and all the ways to get in touch with him at watchpttv.com.
Say that 10 times.
I don't know if I could.
All right, we're going to jump into the Howard's Cam community segment. I'm going to hit this video and then we'll get going.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harris from the Monoxide Podcast. Real quick, Howard's Cams was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johansson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs, and today they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race-winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting-edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So make sure to reach out to our friend, Luke B, for your next valve train upgrade.
I want to give a shout out to Harris at the Monoxide Podcast on there for doing that voiceover for us, man. I appreciate that a bunch. That really helps us out a ton and gives you guys a different voice to listen to. And big shout out to Harris because 100 episodes over there, man. He's grown from 800 subscribers to 11,000 subscribers on YouTube this year. His goal was to make an income from it, and I think he's really close to it. Wonderful podcast. Love the dude. Doesn't do a whole lot of drag racing content, but tons of road rally and car builder type stuff. So really cool.
Do you remember what episode we were on with him?
Dude, I think it was like 40 or something like that, or 36 or something
Well,
maybe,
we'll have
from
to reach
PMI
out.
last year.
Yeah, we'll have to reach out and see if he's coming to PRI again this year. It'd be fun to do
He
kind of what's changed in the last year.
Yeah, he is, and we are definitely trying to figure that out, whether we're going to do it in our booth or if we're going to do it at his house like we did last time at the Airbnb. So him and
Yeah.
I are talking about that. So I didn't bring you into that conversation, but yeah, that's definitely a topic for sure. And he's down, man. We've talked a bunch throughout the year, and great dude, Harris at Minoxide, Minnoxide. All
Yep.
right, well, let's talk about Blythe Life Racing up first, y'all. You know, I love this couple. This is one of the best power couples that are out there in the community. The Triumph Spitfire, one of my favorite cars that is on there, extended it like 12 inches. Car runs mid sevens. Well, today they posted up our craziest change yet. It's a reel on Facebook and Instagram, and something is coming soon. I don't know. They wouldn't tell me what it is, and they wouldn't say when it was going to be released, but he said soon, which to me is probably hopefully in the next month. It's kind of what I'm fingers crossed, right? But in the hashtags at the bottom, and this is just speculation 100%, they tagged Tick Performance. So the cars run at like, I think 740s or 760s or something like that. Man, are they going to put a stick shift in this thing? I don't know. Again, that is all speculation on my end. Tick Performance may just be they may have spec the turbo for them. I don't know, but I love this setup. And if you're if you're a sponsor and you want to get involved in one of the coolest cars and folks out there, they would be a great opportunity. There's Sick Summer and Sick Week every year in this car, and it's just crazy, man. It gets a ton of attention, tons of attention.
Yeah.
So,
Could you imagine that thing with a stick shift in it?
I don't know how you'd fit it, dude. It's so tiny inside
Yeah.
there, so tiny. And like
Yeah.
it's got a 750 cage, so or maybe even a 60 cage. I mean, that's his plans to go sixes, so I'm sure it's got something that'll put it in the sixes in a car that's like this wide.
Right.
Maybe it's probably not even this wide.
Yeah.
And then drive around all week in that thing and then be rowing gears. No thanks. I'm out.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got John Paul Franks of Heads Up Hustle. He's got his motor going on the dyno tomorrow. So just 3 days ahead of the event. He
Yeah.
said motor is going to the dyno tomorrow. This will be its first start, and hopefully it's all good like we think it is. Man, talk about last minute crunch.
Dude, and listen, this is right now. This is right now. They're pulling the motor out literally as we speak. He's watching the show and sent me that picture. They've got it hooked. I mean, so not only are they getting ready to dyno this motor for the first time, but it's literally still in the car.
Mm,
This
that is
scary, man.
wild.
Scary, scary stuff. He sent me also a picture I didn't put in here, obviously, but the interior is completely gutted. There's nothing. There's nothing inside. So
Good luck, John. I
I
hope you
mean,
get
dude,
everything finished.
listen. Let's soapbox here for a second. This is the struggle. Okay, this is why John Paul is a heck of a dude and has no quit in him. But y'all, when you thrash this hard for the 2 weeks leading up to an event, and you go to do something and something goes wrong at the track or on the road or something like that, do you have the mental capacity to just keep going, to tear the heads back off of this thing because you've had the motor in and out 4 times over the weekend? Luckily he's not far from national trails, but still, like, do you have it in you? That's why co-pilots are so important, and that's why these people that they make such a difference, because if you can't do it and you're throwing wrenches and you're kicking rocks and all that kind of stuff, can your co-pilot then jump in and get to work and get it further along? Hey, I've got one head off, you pull the other one. I got this done. Hey, I got a head on. Let's get. So that's where a great co-pilot, and maybe not the hard thrash leading up to it. Travis Wise is thrashing to get his cyclone or his S10 ready for race week, and he's literally today was like, I'm throwing in the towel. F this truck. I'm done with it. And he's part of a race car friends group, and everybody was like, no, man, keep going, keep going. And of course, he one more step, got closer. Well, then the wiring harness didn't work for his M1. Oh man, I'm done. I'm out. Well, I guess I could just change harnesses every day. Oh, I'm done. So it just happens like that all the time.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I haven't committed to an event because I don't want to have that last minute thrash. Although maybe it would push me to get it done a little quicker. I could
Well,
use
listen,
that too.
you're getting the Mustang done next year. What's the event you're going to debut it at? Was it One Guy's Garage?
You're really gonna call me on that, huh? That's
Hey, dude, we're going to do it. I'm going to come up. We're going to work on it a couple times throughout next year, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time.
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, guys, let's talk about Mr. Ryan Hargett. This dude, man, um, this is breaking news. This hasn't been made public, so you guys are hearing it first right here on the Drag Drive Repeat Show, episode 81. Ryan Hargett's anecdote Coyote powered Camaro will be in the AFCO racing booth at PRI. How cool is that?
What?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that literally happened 4 minutes before the show. He texted me that's what he's working on right now. Breaking news. That's right. The Ryan Hargett Automotive and Performance Camaro, the Coyote powered Camaro, is going to be in the AFCO Racing Shocks booth. This is going to be super cool at PRI. I love it for him. This car is really going to be. This was one of the first cars of the year to start this push towards a 5. They're really this car in his Mustang that was a street car, full weight car went 17s, 720s, and this car is going to go way faster. So this is an older car that his dad and him built back in the day. He pulled it out of the mothballs and it is putting this Coyote drivetrain in. It's going to be legendary, man. This thing is going to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to
Yeah.
see it. Obviously, I was hoping that it would make it to Hot Rod Drag Week this year.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not happening. So at least I'll be able to get to check out the car in person at PRI, and I'll get some great photos of that sitting in the booth.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it. So that's pretty cool. Well, let's move on. Let's bring our last guest in of the night. We've got a little bit of time here, about 43 minutes left, and I'm excited about this one. This is Mr. Ryan Snyder of Performabuilt Transmissions, and if y'all don't know, this dude's a big part of our program here at Drag Drive Repeat. We ask him a ton of questions all the time. He's one of the smartest dudes we know. He's been on the show before talking about how to make a transmission live and all the tips and tricks and stuff like that. Well, tonight he's going to talk about his experience at Six Summer. He's going to talk about all the fun they had with I'll just show you guys the picture here. This will tell you right here. Look at their backs. They did some work. We're going to go through some of those pictures and talk through all that and see how maybe his experience at a week-long drag and drive has maybe changed some of the things he's done on his personal car or some of the cars that or some of the transmissions he's built for customers in the world. All right, Mr. Ryan, how are you this evening, sir? What's going on, man?
Pretty good. Can you guys hear me okay?
You are great, dude.
Great.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the 13th hour. I've been here since this morning. But yeah, man, I feel like I never really left Six Summer, to be honest with you. I've definitely gotten grayer. But yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you both out there for the first time as well.
Yeah,
it
dude,
was
I
a
had
ton
a
of fun.
blast. Yeah. Yeah, and you guys really put it to it for sure, man. You guys had you a full week of stuff. So tell us how that kind of came about and how you got invited with the prices and a little bit about that story.
Well, it started as like I've been looking to get out a little more because all I do is stay here and work and build stuff. So let's get out. Let's be with the people we've sold to for many years. And it kind of started as a joke because I just talked to Howie as a friend whenever, the fuck you need something. And it just kind of came up and we started talking about it and got more serious and serious and serious. And eventually I was like, I'm doing this. The next thing you know, time came, we're on a plane and we are meeting them and filming it all for the first time, which was, like I said, I would go back. That was different. It was the most different thing I've ever been through in my entire life.
That's awesome. Well, I love that you guys experienced that because you guys, man, you had a week of it for sure. So give us a recap of what transmission is in their car, and then what kind of times it's ran.
So we have right here. This has been sitting in my office since, this is my office. It's been sitting in here since July, probably, by the time he got it out. So I figured, like, let's maybe dive into this together later. Anyway, this is a 4L60E. It is my top model. Howie owns several of them in multiple cars, and we've had nothing but good success with this unit. We definitely had our hiccups out there. I feel like we actually might have hit that 10. Granted, I feel like the converter bolt, based on all the time we've spent, pouring over everything, I feel like it was walking out the second day. And we ran it that whole week on basically one converter bolt.
Oh, man. Wow.
So at the end of the day, after all the fun we had, very successful first day, which we were, I think, within 5 tenths or 500ths. I'm not really sure. I don't remember the time slip because this was back in June, and but they are posted if anybody wants to see on Sheila's Dreams Racing page. We were very, very close where a wind gust would have put us into a 10. That's how close we were. We kept losing time a little mile an hour. The temps kept getting hotter. It did become a hot week. It started cool at first. And I was definitely sweating and being punished when we had to fix the power steering line and had other multiple problems as we progressed in the event. The last thing I ever figured I'd do was pull my own product and my own transmission in the parking lot, because of the converter bolt. What actually had happened towards the end of the event, after it had been put through so much abuse, when Robbie shut the car down, we heard a very loud rattling noise, sound similar to a rod. The motor was showing great signs of health, and we noticed in the drip tray there was some aluminum just hanging out there. And that was actually from the oil pan and the bolt walking out and knocking a piece off of it. So one bolt's gone. We don't know where it is. The other bolt we have, Howie, I think, still has, and the other bolt held on for dear life.
Thank goodness.
So we completed the event with this transmission, this very light duty trans in a 5,000-pound wagon on nitrous, with one bolt hanging on for dear life, 90 pounds of line pressure throughout the entire throttle range, because when we crack this open later, we definitely lost the pump. That's my assumption. That wobble and Robbie's trans brake hits were not great on this thing. So, and the entire time home, we drove it an hour and a half home. We finished the event with like a 63-mile-an-hour pass. It was very slow, but we finished and it felt great. Drove it home an hour and a half, and the entire time I was freaking out, and the entire crew was telling me to shut up and have some faith in my build. So they had utmost faith in me, and I didn't on that ride home. I swore we were gonna slip, break, burn, but we didn't. It made it just fine.
Yeah, and I think this thing weighs like 7,800 pounds with the trailer or something. I mean, it's super heavy. And then there's 5 adult dudes in there. Yeah.
Yep. It was a tight squeeze. It was a lot of rubbed ankles and rubbed shoulders, a lot of sunburn. It was, we were packed.
Yeah. Dang, I thought I grabbed the picture of you guys jammed in the backseat, but I didn't. Shoot.
Wow.
So all these folks right here are in that car. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yep. Every single one of us. You got Jeremy, Jason, myself, Howie, Robbie, and we're literally sandwiched in there in a roll cage and everything else.
Yeah.
They put me in the middle because I'm obviously the smallest.
Well, and this group of people here, I love them. I tell them that all the time. They're great. They are always having a good time. And man, I can't imagine spending the week with them in the car. That would probably be pretty intense and just probably almost stomach hurting laughing so much.
Yeah, I definitely got my workout, and I'm definitely doing this again next year. This was the biggest laugh riot, hardest funnest vacation of my life, and I was completely spent at the end.
That's awesome, man. Well, walk us through what's going on right here. Where are you guys at? You're pulling the transmission, but where are you? I don't see anything in the background that kind of tells us what's up.
Oh, in the photo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that's when that's the day we had shut off the car. We had that really bad run where we were messing with spark plugs. We were messing with nitrous. We were throwing another 50 shot at it just because we figured the car was so heavy. We needed to get more juice to it to get the weight moving, down the line and get, what we needed. That wasn't the case. We threw another 50 shot at it. We fried about half the spark plugs in it. Changed that out real quick. Thankfully, nothing insane happened. Then I kind of gave permission to like do something I don't normally do, which is lock it up at wide open in second. I didn't know what effect that might have, but I figured it might help get it rolling. By that time, that's when the converter bolts were done. We definitely saw a problem in the fueling too with the nitrous and everything else. So in the video that is online somewhere, you can see the car go like rich, then lean, then figure itself out and take off like a rocket ship. But it struggled in the first 330, obviously. That's when we started really having those problems, and that's when all these pictures took place of there's a bolt laying in our catch pan. Where did that come from? And we discovered very quickly. It turns out we didn't really need to pull the tranny. There's nothing we could have done with the tranny, even with the hurt pump. We pulled it because we didn't realize, we thought we had a bad flex plate. We could have just turned the flex plate, turned the converter. It had 9 different holes in it that all matched up. So we could have just swapped holes and had a very easy night. Instead, we had a very hard night.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
And we realized that once it was pulled, it was like shit.
Yeah. But you almost have to do that work. But again, this is what I say all the time. Your brain doesn't work at that point. You are, what is the worst possible scenario? Let's work on that. And then, you have to get that experience, that roadside repair, all the fun stuff. So
we didn't have any transmission fluid extra. So I had my finger in the dipstick hole the whole time it was being dropped, and it hurt so bad. It was just burning. Like it hurt. Yeah. It sucked. But couldn't afford to lose it. Like we needed to go.
Yeah. That's wild. Well, what about what's going on right here?
So the left picture, I guess, me with the finger in the wheel hub there. I finally learned lug nuts are a wear item in racing. I never knew that. Yeah. So we fried our lug nuts on that side pretty damn bad, where we had to replace some studs that were pretty specific to the wheel we had.
Of course.
Just like a drag and drive that I want to say to everybody looking to get into the sport. It is scary alone. With a buddy, it's helpful. Come prepared, but chances are somebody will probably have the rare wheel stud you need right down the road if you ask for it. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened. Somebody had the exact thing we needed, just one, threw it in, replaced it, impacted it, good to go.
Wow. That's so cool, man.
The other one, the power steering, that's the right picture. We had a little homemade plumbing on the car. Naturally, it's a homemade race car. And the part of the fitting had a hairline crack develop in it. It was a very hot day that day. I think we were 98 degrees weather. We were seeing engine temps of like 235. We had very little airflow. It was congested traffic trying to make it to the next event. And we just started, we pulled over just purely for overheating's sake. We didn't want to damage anything. And then we discovered a little bit of smoke. And boy, that was a difficult thing for such a small problem.
Right.
Yeah. So GM power steering pump. I just finished my 52 truck just a little bit ago with Evan. And guess what? Our GM power steering pump's leaking. So it's just a thing, I guess. Can't have any leaks. So yeah, we had to fix that, and that was awful in the middle of a quick stop.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can see I'm over it.
Your face on that was the best, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it's 135 degrees inside the car. It's 178 degrees in that parking lot, and the
Believe it or
engine is
not,
400.
that car is gorgeous, so it does not need air conditioning. The back window rolls down when you're cruising,
Oh,
like
so you
this
get
photo.
the
The
flow through.
airflow is incredible.
That's cool. That's really cool. All right. Well, I feel like we're going to run out of time, so let's move on here because we want to talk about some of the stuff that you do every day. We want to talk about Performabuilt transmissions and kind of get in because you're tearing that transmission apart, disassembling it right here live for us on the show. So we want to be able to give you plenty of time to do that. Yeah, let's move through some of these questions. Mr. Eric, you got one for him here?
Yep. So, did your experience doing drag and drive Six Summer change the way you think about your build or other drag and drive transmission builds?
Yes, it's something I definitely keep in consideration now that I've actually been through it, and I do realize how challenging it can be. Um, so in my own car, which still isn't done, um, I have decided to change my rear gearing quite a bit, maybe down to like, I don't know, 342, 308. I'm not going for the fastest time, obviously, but I would like a decent gear to get around much easier because I have realized in the drag and drive, it's not the race that kills you, it's the daily driving that will kill your car,
Yeah.
100%. So on top of that, I've stepped up my cooling as well. That's something me and Howie were running into a lot, and Robbie. We didn't have any real fans on that car, and that's why we were struggling with that power steering line, and we had to pull over. We just had no airflow whatsoever. So that's a big thing for anyone: trans flow, radiator flow, airflow, because you are going to get stuck in traffic, guaranteed.
Yeah, and the hood on that car weighs 700 pounds, so pulling that thing off would have been kind of tough. I don't even know where you put it either because they got
Yeah,
so much stuff on the roof.
that thing, we debated on taking it off, but we figured that'd be cheating.
I can appreciate that. Well, just a real quick picture here, and then we're going to get into some stuff of your truck. But this here, Keith Horton is a great ambassador for Performer-Built transmissions.
Yep.
He beats relentlessly on that car, always doing burnouts on drag and drive events. Obviously, Sheila's dream, and then Nick Schaff is a customer of yours too, out of Louisiana. And his transmission, he's 4L80, and that truck has been, he's been deep into tens in a naturally aspirated big cubic inch LS setup. So super cool clients there. Super nice folks, and just, I mean, you're definitely known around the drag and drive community, and that's kind of why your partnership with us works so well, is because you can help us understand. And then this is the truck you're just talking about. So this is the photo I was trying to get to.
Oh yeah. That's actually sitting out. It is together. The bed's on it. We took it for a drive tonight and the other day. Got a couple, suspension needs tighten, left turn signals being a little wonky, stupid shit like that. But she is definitely different and fun right now.
Yeah. I love the 4 link in the back, and then this is a big block, right?
Yeah, it's a big block. We actually had to lengthen that drive shaft by an inch, so we went with Nick's Choice Company USA Driveline.
Cool.
Fantastic drive shafts.
That's
Couldn't make
awesome.
it easier.
That's awesome. Well, what is your opinion on the drag and drive community as a whole? What do you think of us?
I've actually never quite been to an event like this. I've always spent my time on like test and tune nights, nothing, serious. And we have our local car shows around here. This was the first real week-long event that I've been to, besides like World Cup and some other things like that don't really apply to me. I feel like it's a lot of import stuff. I've never, even at those events, seen a more helpful community. Like I said, you get on the Facebook group and you're participating in this. If you need something, someone's there. And I almost would put money on that. It's insane how much everybody's just there for you. We actually, when we rolled up on the third or second checkpoint, we helped a certain truck. I want to say it was like Killer B or something. It was matte black with yellow. His fuel pump took a shit. Well, we happen to have the exact one we need. He screamed help. A whole bunch of people pushed him out of the road into the checkpoint, gave him his fuel pump. He's on his way, completed the event. That's how it goes. And nobody really asked anything for it. Hey, pay me back later or get me next time.
Yeah,
I don't know what we could ask for more in support, the race dinner, just everything. I really couldn't. Everybody on the side of the road, if they see you pulled over, beep, wave, thumbs up, good to go. If not, thumbs down, pull over, we help.
Yep.
That doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, there's nobody in the pit standing there with their thumb down, and people are running over to help them.
Yeah, just like the kid. One of the people I'm the biggest fan of right now in the drag and drive is the El Toro car, the young kid.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah, dude. Great. About flipped his trailer, made like the best pass ever, did a turbo swap on the road. Like, wow. You know what I mean? I've seen it. I'm flabbergasted at most of the stuff I saw. And then I've met, obviously, a second family.
Yeah. They go 5 teens and then said, "Oh, you know what? Actually, if we put a bigger turbo on here, we could get into the 4s," and then proceeded to go 480s on
Absolutely.
inside.
He owned it, and he deserved every bit of applause.
Yep, that's right. All right. Well, I think we got one more question, and then let's dive into tearing this thing apart, man.
All right.
Yeah. So, what do you think it'll take to get more people into drag and drive?
I genuinely think the sport's going to grow by itself purely by word of mouth. It is so involved in every aspect of what racing probably should be, between maintenance, setup, and really knowing what you're designing your car for on this specific event to be the end all be all. Daily, comfortable, fast as shit, record breaking, it doesn't matter what you have to be in the sport. You're going to be appreciated no matter what, and you're probably going to do well if you have the right mindset and are just prepared and think ahead. I think this is new, and the more people find out about it, it's going to spread like a California wildfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think any work needs really done, man. Just put it out there and people are going to flock to this. I can't tell you how fun and hard it is.
That's for sure. Well, man, let's get it, dude. We got like 23 minutes. Do you think you can get that thing down in 23 minutes?
I tore that one down in 6. So, I mean, the only thing I'm not going to do is rip the valve body off, because obviously there's shit I don't want people to see or even have a glimpse of it. But we're going to pull the guts out. We're going to look at the clutches. We're going to look at the whole body. So it shouldn't be too hard. I haven't even drained it. I wasn't even going to tell you guys about this. I was just going to slam it on the desk and be like, we're doing this, might as well together. So
And the 6-minute teardown that he's talking about is on his YouTube channel, Performabuilt Transmissions. Love that. If I found myself watching a lot of the videos just simply because I don't need to know any of that stuff because we have you, but it's good to take stuff apart sometimes, man. And you do a great job explaining and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, like no matter what has actually happened to this thing, like let's be aware, you know what I mean? I don't really care. Like we had a failure. It's very obvious. The torque converter, the pump, 90 PSI. Let's learn what actually happens when this, you're probably going to run into it someday, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So we'll see. I'm not going to be able to give all the best camera angles, but I'll do my best. I'm going to drain it into a bucket, and I'll tell you if it's dark or not. And surprisingly, that is perfectly clear.
Wow.
I'm pretty stoked on it. Yeah. And I don't see any metal flake, so there is going to be noises and shaking. Maybe I'll shut my mic off when we do some impacting, which I'm about to do now. But if you guys don't care, I don't care.
Hit it, dude. You're not going to hurt our feelings. There's people right now that are wrenching in their own shop listening to this, so maybe that'll give them some motivation.
I'm going to give it a minute because I think there's like 6 quarts still in this thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
I don't
again,
want to
just for the folks that are coming in right now, this is a 4L60 that lives behind a nitrous powered or nitrous fed um, giganormous wagon that weighs 11,000 pounds. I don't know what it was, but it's a lot, and is driven by some of the funnest people. One of the cool things is these guys are going. They are going twin turbo now instead of nitrous. I think they were spraying with like a 200 shot or something like that by the end of summer, 150 or 200, something like that.
Yeah, and we were cranking up 50 more. The motor did not like that. So 250 on or E85 is the limit for that car. Absolutely. And then we have 2 turbos next year that are almost as big as me. There's a photo of that somewhere. They're capable of like 2,500.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put it to the test. And we have Evan here. He may decide to pick up the camera. We'll see if we need a little close-up or not. So I want to point out during the last pass on our final run, which you can see on their page again, you definitely heard a slip. Like I said, 90 pounds of line pressure, that's idle. We should be seeing at like wide open throttle drag racing, like 180 to 220 at the bare minimum. We were averaging about 260. So doing a trans brake hit, moving that 5,000 pounds at 90 pounds, that's pretty impressive. I was very nervous, I won't lie.
Yeah.
We do have a little bit of debris. It's really not that bad. I actually imagine it'd be a lot worse, but there's definitely aluminum from the pump. So I think we're on the right track.
And then is there a filter brand that you recommend?
Yeah, OEM. My homie Evan, who makes these extension tubes, really makes them tight. So he's grabbing me a tool that he uses to take these out. They aren't supposed to come out.
Yeah,
And
you get destroyed.
My strips is a tool. So we're going to wreck this one and make another.
And so this is to get, like, if you have a deep sump pan, this is to get the filter down into the bottom of the pan.
Yeah, because the trans brake, holy shit, you made this thing.
I make a machine fit.
Yeah, he really does make a machine fit. So that's definitely not leaking. But yeah, we have, I don't know if you guys can see this big aluminum block here.
Mm-hmm.
Move it and mess it up.
I don't think it'll mess it up.
Nope, it did. He gone. This is pretty cool, man. I'll tell you. Again, the videos on his channel are great. Performabuilt transmission on YouTube. It's really super cool to see somebody tear that stuff apart. And he has one that literally is like it's a 6-minute 4L60 teardown. Like
That's so
blows
crazy
my
to me.
mind. Like literally, it's over. It's just boop 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 boop, taking it all apart. Those are the kind of things you gotta know, and again, those are the kind of folks we need in our corner on this side, because you can message the Performabuilt transmissions page and either watch how to do the teardown, or if it comes down to it, you could always hey, help me please.
Right.
Now I'm back on. He touched it and then ruined it.
It was gone.
So where do you want this, homie?
Well, I was gonna pick it up, but I don't want to move it now if that cable's sensitive.
It is sensitive.
Yeah.
All right, you can see. I can see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on your computer now.
It is?
Well,
Yeah, there you go. There we go. That's
Well,
better for sure.
It works.
I messed it up. My bad.
Yeah.
It's okay this time.
You can tell my work computer is that's better.
Yeah,
all right.
that's better.
So this thing is the trans brake right here. Okay. And that is why we need the deep pan. Obviously, that won't clear a stock pan. And I think you said, what filter do I recommend, right?
Yeah.
Just OEM. We use Howie's used OEM filter with our extension. The felt filters are best. I don't like the high flow. The high flow tends to suck stuff up in the pump. It grinds up the gear. No good, you know, unless your unit and system is very clean all the time.
Yeah, streetcar stuff typically isn't. There's just stuff that gets around and in, and you know.
Yeah, it's a sealed unit, but there's dead spots. Like fluid's like a river, you know, it's gonna hit a spot and curve up and go somewhere else. Well, that dead spot, when it hits it, it's just gonna build junk up over time, 10, 20 years, you know, 300,000 miles, even 1,000, it doesn't matter. Okay, I think we've seen enough of the impact, and we will put my pin back in. And we take out 3-2 PW and my can't see.
Well, sealed.
That's very sealed, that's for sure. It's kind of harder to do this with the valve body on, so bear with me. I have to put this thing in drive. And here she comes. And my hook is very loose. That makes it a miserable pain. So I don't build in here anymore. Okay, let's take apart what I know we messed up. Oh yes. Can we see? I don't know if we can see that very well. So,
Oh, you can see a groove there, almost.
yeah, it's like a dark spot. So, like with my fingernail, we've torn the aluminum up from the one converter bolt and the converter wobbling. So we've really beaten the absolute crap out of the rotor but actually here's a good example. You can see it more on the bushing than you can with my crappy camera. Let's try to. You see how shiny that is? That used to be black, like a Teflon coated, and it ain't right through that. Now it's the bronze.
Wow.
So we have ovaled this thing out. Converter completely off balance. Robbie trans brake running it like at 6,000 plus. Like it's the recipe for disaster. And then I'm going to lose pressure because, you know, the metal's wearing away. Their cavity opens up and it's just not going to pump the way it should. And we couldn't develop any more line pressure after that.
Well, and you and I had a conversation. I don't remember if it was on the last time you were on the show or not, but the people that had put my 4L80 together originally had put the seal. There was the seal you put on the front pump to the transmission. They had put that between the like in the middle of that pump right there, and so it wouldn't do anything. So, you know, yeah, you take it to the transmission guy, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, it needs a whole rebuild if it's not doing anything." You know, that was before we knew you, and pull it apart and find that the gasket was in the wrong spot of the front pump. So.
Yeah, this one, it's still doing stuff, but there's such a big place that's open that it doesn't like doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're experiencing here. So let's see what it didn't like. So we'll separate the band. That's not bad. This drum is still very nice. You can see we have a little score mark here for second gear. That's where that slip happened on the track.
Gotcha.
Just a little bit. I'm actually quite impressed.
Wow.
And then the band was wearing. So this is your second gear and partially fourth gear in a 4L60 700 R4. It was riding and just trying to grab so bad, but at 90 pounds, it can't possibly grab hard enough to move a 5,000 pound vehicle down the track or 8,000 pounds down the road. Even
what kind of line pressure do you typically see?
Line pressure. So at idle, for pretty much any GM trans, you should see around 60 to 80 pounds, even stock. The lowest that ours typically do is 90, especially with a brake, because that's the idle PSI that a brake needs to actually engage when you're just, coming up to the line and bumping in. Howie typically is featured in my video. We were seeing an average of wide open throttle, full trans brake engagement at 240, 260 on a regular run. So we dropped, an insane amount of pounds. And I'm actually shocked, and that's why I was freaking out on the ride home, that it would actually hold and get us home. And it did very well, obviously. We'll get more into it here.
All right, sorry. I'll quit asking questions. Lead us into it, man. We got about 10 more minutes.
Okay. What were you going to say?
Pull the clutches out.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get there. So, yeah, I'm not going to pull the guts out and shit because, obviously the gears, nothing broke. This stuff still spins, glass smooth. Clutches is what we want to do. So Robbie is one of the more fantastic trans brake operators I've ever seen. He's really on point with that thing. He knows his car. He's dialed in. And this typically, these are your reverse input clutches. These are what apply against your forward clutch, and that's what locks your transmission, where the rear end sees all the shock from the trans brake release. These work with forward. Robbie is so good on that brake, and the Haltech is set up so right. Typically, I see some hot spotting on these. I've never seen any with Robbie's, not even on the forward clutch. These are brand new. That's how on point he is with his car.
Now what does that mean? Like, how does he operate that better than, like, what's the key there?
He just has his timing down. So with a trans brake, no matter what you have, turbo 400, 4L80, 4L60, you should never hold a brake and winding it up for more than like 3 seconds. Every second builds about 20 degrees of heat. This clutch and the forward clutch in here are fighting each other. That's what's creating your brake. They can easily overpower each other. And that's all going to depend on heat. So if you're holding this thing for 5 seconds, you've built 100 degrees of heat. One of these is going to give it up. And it's usually this guy right here.
Interesting.
So when you hear him on the line, if you've ever watched his videos, you hear him just, and he's gone. He's just ready.
Interesting.
And I think it's a skill by itself.
Yeah, for sure. And seat time. A lot of these guys, it's their first time going out in the car when they go to these events, and then they put it on they're on the button for 12 seconds trying to get set up and comfortable, and then they let go, and then they go drive it 400 miles.
Oh yeah, exactly. And one bad brake hit will make or break your unit, like straight up.
Wow.
It's a great tool for everyone who either isn't good at foot braking or their car's too powerful or they just don't like it. But at the same time, there is a responsibility there of you really do have to be ready and, because you can really make or break your car. So now we'll get into probably what everybody wants to see. The 3/4 clutches, the forward clutches that fight reverse, and the engine braking clutches, which will definitely have no wear. They aren't used very much. I need the long thing. Our set screw driver, the one on my desk. Yeah, he's gonna grab me the right. I thought this had a different drum in it, but yeah, we gotta unscrew this. The third clutches actually look fine. I don't think we really saw that bad of a slip except in second gear with the band. So I'm very pleased with what we went through despite what was happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure the weight in that car, any kind of slip at all, just hurts it that much more because it's just carrying so much.
Oh yeah, I base all the power ratings off of 4,000 pounds of weight. Howie has exceeded that by double.
Yeah.
But we wanted to try it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I really think it can do this. Do you do? Yep, let's go. All right. So we do it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we'll just crack these off and then we'll see the overall, we really do. I know we do a good thing here. We know what we're doing. But at the same time, when you put the scenario together, you really find out what your stuff and what it is capable of under failure conditions. So that's what we're all doing here today.
Well, and how long has this been in the car?
This one was refreshed right before the event. So
Sweet.
The last one was in the car for 4 years, 4.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's what we talked about last time was how long it had lived. But yeah, I remember now, and you were saying that they were going to go up in power and they were sending it to you.
So I am not unhappy at all right now. They definitely were getting warm, but they weren't slipping yet.
Wow.
They're still very steel, nice metal, nice clutch. But they were starting to discolor, around the end of the steel.
And that could have really been, I mean, just from the drive home and the little bit of, you said a couple hours worth of drive home.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, over, Wisconsin's kind of hilly. It's not like where we are, like Pennsylvania, where there's Appalachian Mountains, but it's enough. You got your uphills, downhills, and when you're carrying 8,000 pounds on a obviously hurt transmission, it's very, you're nervous.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We got one little hot spot on the third clutch back. That's not going to be anything detrimental, but we'll go into first. So yeah, forward clutch. Very nice.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like any heat or anything like that, any crazy wear patterns or anything on my side anyway.
Not at all. But one of the things we look for, especially in the scenario we were just in where all the damage is in front of the transmission and the hydraulic pump, we were running that Midwest converter, which this isn't bad mouthing or anything, but that converter was like 4 years old as well. We chanced it, but you can see what has happened by loss of line pressure with lockup. This screen comes from the pump, and what it does is catch any debris. Well, we have basically, as you can see, it's full. We have shit the lockup clutch completely through it, just by faulty pressure, wobbling converter. It's completely off balance. It didn't like itself very much, so it has failed. And
wow.
Everything up, which gave us about 90 pounds of line pressure. Even though the EPC is working, everything's kind of working, we can't pull any more fluid because of all these clogs.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's why you're the smart dude. That's why we keep you around.
it's kind of common knowledge, you know, if you really get into it. Like, it's just like, oh, it's dirty, it's not going to work, it's clogged up. And so the best way I can describe it is, if you ever want to understand a transmission and how it works, engine oil and your engine is not the same. You have oil PSI and stuff that's similar, but the oil is not cut out for the PSI that a transmission is going to make. It's very similar to trying to pick up a 5,000 pound load with a forklift with like no fluid in it. It's just not going to happen. Your engine will run on a couple quarts low. Your transmission definitely will not tolerate a quart low.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Again, we go back to what you said last time was maintenance. You know, make sure, like, it doesn't take long to change the fluid in the transmission. Just do it before an event. Make sure make sure everything is as right as it can be before you get going. Make sure the level that you check is right, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I met a couple cool guys out there helping them with that same thing. All they had was a clogged filter, which is kind of what happened here. Starting with this. They swap filters, finish the event, and sometimes that's all it takes.
That's awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for tearing that down in front of us. I appreciate that. And I'm sure on the YouTube channel and Facebook page, there'll be some updates on that. And of course, Sheila's Dream on Facebook, they can follow there when they get that transmission back. And then, they'll see it out running very soon, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they have a whole nother spare. They're getting the turbos on. They're ready to go. I'm editing new videos, so I'll have a bunch of stuff coming out soon.
That's awesome, man. Well, again, guys, you can find Performabuilt transmissions everywhere. I mean, you guys do a great job on social media and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff all the time posting. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
So, all right, well, stay with us. I'd like to talk to you backstage for just a second, and then let us close this out. We'll see you soon, dude.
All right, cool. Thanks.
See ya.
Man, I'm telling you, I enjoyed that dude being a part of the program here because like stuff just like that. I mean, he literally pulled that transmission part right here live on the show, which is super cool for now and then later as well. Because I think it's probably going to. I mean, he did that while talking to us, right?
Right.
So it would take me a lot more brain power to do that. But that's what's great about him just being a part of the program. You can go over to his YouTube channel, you can see all the stuff. He does a great job of explaining all that. But then when we get to a point where we have some real deep questions, we can have him on the show. We can talk about stuff. And Performabuilt actually hosts one of the segments on the news show every weekend. So we have a segment that's dedicated to them and kind of, what works in the community and all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's run this thing out of here and let these people get back to hopefully wrenching on their cars for Super Week that's happening next week. Do we want to talk about the news episode that's going to be this Saturday, though? Because it's going to be a little different than usual. Eric and I are going to be together, but we're not going to do it in the morning. Okay, we're not going to do news in the morning as we typically do. We are going to wait until Eric picks me up at the airport in Chicago for our drive over to National Trails for Hot Rod Drag Week. So the plan currently, I'll buy a suction cup for my phone, and we may just stick my phone up on the glass and talk from there. We've got a bunch of topics already laid out to go over that we would talk about in the morning. But Eric today goes, man, why don't we just jump in the car and kind of hang out and do that? So we may do that. And then I don't know, man, if we get bored, we may go live and just do like a Q&A as we drive down the road and talk to folks and welcome some people into the show and tell some stories. There's a lot of people that are headed to Dragon Drives this next week. And we need to talk to them, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Plus, it'll give entertainment for us while we're driving and everybody else that's driving as well. So it's almost like we're all driving together.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, guys, again, just want to say thanks for hanging out tonight. We can't do this without our race car friends. If you don't know, Eric showed it earlier. There is a new race car friends. This is the first time we've done a race car friends sticker, man. I'm so excited about this. We have 10 in stock right now and have a bunch more on the way. I feel like that decal is going to sell quite a bit. And again, all the decal sales help us, attend these events and buy equipment and do all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for being our race car friends. Thank you for all the shares. That's free. sharing what we do and post is free for you to put out there, and it just helps us grow and expand on the drag and drive community. So we appreciate everybody being our race car friends out there. And then of course our sponsors, we can't do this without them. They make our travel and everything like that possible. Summit Racing, I can't wait to hang out with Tommy and Jim and the guys that'll be working the truck for drag week. So the Summit Racing parts truck will be on site at drag week this next week. So that'll be kind of cool. Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, appreciate both of them big time. They're a huge part of our program here. Car Change 3D, please, Corey, come on out to coming out to one of the tracks, man. We got to see you Wife Racing. Hopefully we see Chris and the team somewhere down the line. Performabuilt, Ryan was on tonight, obviously here, tearing transmissions apart. Appreciate that. Luke B at Howard's Cams, love him. Sweet Patina, Blake and the team over there have traveled. Like I think I saw 18 or 19,000 miles this year going to shows for the Sweet Patina, patina sauce and shirts and apparel and all the cool stuff they offer to keep your car looking good, as well as you looking good. Power Tube TV, love those guys over there. And then Racing Junk Classifieds. Saturday we'll have some cool we'll have some cool cars from the drag and drive section within the Racing Junk Classifieds site. So all right, guys, thanks a bunch. We'll see you next time.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
Sweet.